With that, the clerk will call the roll.
Philbrook.
Here.
Brockmeyer. Here. Campbell. Here. Teresa. Downey.
Yes.
Heigert. Here. Oswald. 2.
Here. Okay, 7 present. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from the previous meeting. If there are no corrections or additions, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, a motion has been made by Alderman Oswald, second by Alderman Brockmeyer, that we approve the minutes of the previous meeting. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no, and the ayes have it. We'll do approval of bills for the light bills. If there's no questions on the bills, the lake ad hoc bills like watershed, I would entertain a motion to approve. Yes, Beth?
Comment and just comment. First off, I want to apologize last meeting when I gave my update about having gone to Bunker Hill. I misspoke when I said that Bunker Hill passed it unanimously. I was contacted by somebody who said that they sent a letter of intent to IARWC saying that as long as the lawsuit was settled, then they would be a part of the process. And then I also want to go on record again saying I do not believe that we should be spending taxpayers' money, especially with the lawsuit hanging over us, to give to that company. I think it would be prudent to hang on to our money until we know which direction this is going to go. That's my comment.
I'll make the motion to approve the bill. Motion has been made by Alderman Oswald, second by Alderman Campbell, that we approve the bills as in your packet. There's no other questions. The clerk will call the roll.
Tim.
No.
Oswald.
Yes.
Heigert.
No.
Downey.
Yes.
Campbell.
Aye.
Brockmeyer.
Yes.
Philbrook.
Yes.
Okay.
5.
Bills are not approved.
Bills are approved.
They weren't approved before? Okay, got it. Okay, the bills are approved as indicated. Okay, next we'll go under correspondence. Hope everyone has had an opportunity to read the Elks letter and also the CMB letter. Both are asking for permission to be on the square and to have events. One will be on the Elks. Event will be Saturday, April 7th and Saturday, September the 15th, and from 9 to 2. And the CMB will be Thursday, July 12th from 5 to 9:30. I would entertain a motion to put these 2 items on file.
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made by Alderman Toon, second by Alderman Heigert, that we put the Elks Club and CMB dates on file and their correspondence on file. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the correspondence will be placed on file. Next will be under public comment, and I have Mr. Kraft. I have 2 from you. Is that?
Are these from last?
Are these from last? Maybe these are from last week. Okay, Mr. Kraft, would you like to come forward?
I've been willing to talk twice. Okay. From the Freedom of Information Act, the people of the state have a right to the full disclosure of information relating to the decisions, policies, procedure, rules, standards, and other aspects of government activity that affect the conduct of the government and the lives of any or all of the people. This deals with the last couple of FOIA requests I've submitted, asking for information that Ms. Campbell might have had. Is there a problem? Asking for information that Alderman Campbell had dealing with the alleged water company and decisions being made on behalf of the city, because she is there as the city council's representative to that organization, and as the city council's representative, she is allegedly acting on behalf of the city council, and I find it odd that the city council doesn't have the documents or other information related to any discussions or decisions that she happens to be making during meetings of that private company that is owned by the city. Additionally, there's been misinformation being published and stated by Mrs. Campbell, Mr. Davenport, and others that make it appear that someone is suing the city to keep people from getting clean water. Everybody knows that's a lie. That's not why there's a lawsuit against the city. The lawsuit has nothing to do with not wanting people to have good water. It has everything to do with using public funds to start and operate a private company. Now, does anyone in this room think the legislature intended, when it passed the Constitution of 1970, for a city to be able to start up its own grocery store? City of Carlinville grocery store, the City of Carlinville liquor store, City of Carlinville gas station, City of Carlinville strip club, City of Carlinville bar and grill, City of Carlinville used car sales. I think we all know that was never intended. But if you use the language that the attorney for that private company is using, go ahead, might as well start up all kinds of private companies, because that's what that section of the Constitution allegedly says, according to that attorney for Illinois Louisville. Everybody knows it doesn't say that. It doesn't mean that. It was never intended to mean that. So how could, if you can't start up a bar or used car sales in the name of the city, why do you think you can start up a private water company? Nothing in that article of the Constitution mentions not-for-profit. It just says corporation. We all know the answer, and hopefully it will get to the courts in an expedient manner. The bottom line is all the above are improper. That attorney, the attorney that gave you advice when it was a proposed water company, and we've got this on video, told you and warned you that the private company was not the way to go. He even said that it would probably get challenged in court, and he stated that you should not go making things up. And those are his own words. Don't go making things up by going the private company route. But this council chose to go the only route that was advised against going. The only route that was advised that you would probably see court action if you went that route. The only route that that attorney said was making things up, and you did that. So, welcome to the court system, I guess. You could have accomplished the exact same things, provided the exact same water, providing the exact same clean water while doing it within confines of the law by forming a water commission, a water district, a joint action water agency. The problem, and everybody voted in favor that knows what the problem is. The problem is these other options provide for citizen access to the meetings and citizen access to the records. and provides for competitive bidding, not non-competitive bidding. You chose the private company route and are now keeping your citizens in the dark. The least you can do is admit why you're going the private company route. Once again, your representative is acting on behalf of the council, and she won't even inform the city council members or provide any documentation to the city council members that she uses while acting on your behalf. If you don't see anything wrong with that, you should. Without proper documentation, you don't know what's going on, and you can't keep your constituents informed. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Webb. Mr. Allen?
If you could, let me know when I'm 30 seconds out. Shouldn't take
Just
more.
go ahead, just go ahead and
All right,
take
thank
your
you.
time.
My name is Kirk Allen, the co-founder of Edgar County Watchdogs. I'm also the president of what's called American Watchdogs. We're a nonprofit local government accountability group. And our goal is to assist citizens who are having challenges getting information and answers in compliance with the law with their local government. We do this all over the state, and we do it all over the country. One of the things that I always ask is, says who with what proof? I don't know anybody here. I don't have a dog in this hunt. Those two questions brought me through a career in the military that was priceless. Says who with what proof? Because we hear things all the time, and we tend to just believe them because we know who it is. Or in the last meeting, we were told we couldn't talk. Your attorney told you that. Everybody says, well, the attorney said it, so it has to be true. I want to address that tonight. Rule 4.2, and I noticed that same briefing didn't preface tonight's meeting for public comment. Rule 4.2, communications with a person represented by counsel. In representing a client, a lawyer shall not communicate about the subject of the representation, about the subject with the representation, meaning we can talk about anything we want. Your lawyer can't talk about it. Under those rules that he's bound by as an attorney, under that same 4.2, paragraph 2, rule applies to communication with any person who is represented by counsel, including counsel, in a limited scope representation concerning the matter to which the communication relates. Our communication last time, at least mine, had absolutely nothing to do with anything at all that was being litigated or that I had any representation for, and these rules apply to your lawyer, not to you. In fact, if I was in litigation with you, Mayor, I could actually speak to you directly and not be violating any rules, and you could respond as well. Under paragraph 4, the rule does not prohibit communication with the represented person or an employee of agent of such person concerning matters outside the representation, and it gives all of these details. Parties to a matter may communicate directly with each other, and a lawyer is not prohibited from advising a client concerning the communication that the client is legally entitled to make. You're legally entitled to discuss that, contrary to what we were told last time. Under 5, communications authorized by law may include communication by a lawyer on behalf of a client who is exercising a constitutional or other legal right to communicate with their government. A lawyer who is uncertain whether communication with a represented person is permissible may seek a court order, not tell us to be quiet in a public meeting. Under Section 8, the prohibition on communication with a represented person only applies in circumstances where the lawyer knows that that person is in fact represented in the matter to be discussed. These are your rules to apply to your legal counsel, not for me. And I say that with all due respect to all of you. When I say says who with what proof, a lot of people left this meeting last time, and we got a lot of calls about it. Boy, I guess the lawyer told you. This isn't about a gotcha or a lawyer said this or a lawyer said that. Last week, 2 public bodies got rid of their legal counsel because we proved what they were doing was not accurate. It wasn't even in the confines of the law. Your attorney gave you bad advice, in my opinion, at the last meeting, and I think anybody that reads 4.2 for yourself will find that those rules he's bound to, he didn't abide by last time. Would you agree with that?
I'm not here to answer your questions. If you want to go to 7 years of law school and interpret those rules, that would be something you could do. But I'm not going to respond to your questions.
Well, I appreciate the response, thank you. You don't have to go to 7 years of law school to understand 4.2. In fact, the says who with what proof, one of the nice things about our legal system, especially with the lawyers, we got thousands, there's hundreds of thousands in the state of Illinois. And you know how many of them will give you a free consultation? You can pick up a phone book and you can ask them a question, and more often than not, you'll get an answer. And I can tell you, I communicate with some of the top attorneys in the state of Illinois, some of them former U.S. attorneys, and every one of them laughed at what you did at that last meeting, because it's absolutely in complete defiance of the rules that you're bound by. And if you think 7 years of law school says otherwise, I would suggest another 7. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. I have another sheet. Is that it? I can't. Who filled out another sheet? Yes, sir.
Robert Bogue?
Your name, please?
Robert Bogue?
Robert.
Me, I'm sorry.
Yes. You want to come up? I'm sorry, Robert. I couldn't make out your writing. No offense.
I'll work on that.
No offense.
I'll work on
Okay.
it. Yeah, I'll try to get better.
How's the last name
I'll
spelled?
try to get better.
Sir, how's your last name spelled?
B as in boy, O-G-U-E.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. No offense, but we.
You're fine. You're fine. My name is Robert Bogue. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I'm a veteran of the United States Army, and I'm also a resident of Illinois. You may recognize my name as an individual that placed a Freedom of Information Act request to your clerk. I asked for public information, basically proof that each of the board members had attained certification for training on the Freedom of Information Act, Open Meetings Act training, and some other public information. I did that back in mid-April 2017. We also did not receive a response from the city or from your clerk. I am the requester. I also filed a complaint with the Attorney General, which I withdrew in September 12, 2017, right after we filed a civil suit against the town of Carlinville. Town or village, I hope I got that right. I am only asking for public information. I don't need your phone numbers or your home addresses. I just would like a response to my 4 questions. I have explained kind of who I am, but I should also tell you that I'm an outsider. I hear people complain about outsiders. And I would say this much tonight, that I pay state taxes, and I think this town may benefit from some of those. I pay federal taxes, and I think this town might also benefit from some of that. I recall when I joined the Army, they didn't offer me an option. I couldn't say I swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and our laws and all of our territories except for Illinois, or anywhere else for that matter. They didn't give me that option, but I happily signed up. So what I think I would tell you today is that I am an outsider, but there are lots of outsiders. Outsiders can bring good things. That we have a vested interest in the success of your town, just like we do every other town. That FOIA requests aren't things to be running from. If you've got the information, there really isn't a reasonable reason for not providing that. The last thing I would remind you folks, because I know these last several months have been maybe difficult. I appreciate that you extended the time for Mr. Graff. It was a nice gesture. Appreciate that. I know that he does. I would say that in closing, we said the Pledge of Allegiance. And the last 3 words are the 3 words that I think of very often when I see people with good intentions that may be misinformed or misled, and they need to educate themselves on what the laws actually are. And those last 3 words are justice for all. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? If so, please come forward. Anyone else? Okay, if there's, yes, Beth.
I have just a couple things. One, I'm curious, I'm surprised that we didn't have an executive session on here. Have we been served the lawsuit from the Broadseats on the regional water plan?
Yes,
We have been served? Do you know what day? I mean, have we had it for a
I'd
while?
have to look at the calendar. It was about 2 weeks after it was filed.
Okay. How long do we have before we have to respond to that? Or have you responded already?
The normal process is 30 days.
And have you responded?
No, I have not.
Okay. I was just curious. I was surprised it wasn't on here. Very surprised. And the other thing is to see if we can ask the chief to put the spring cleanup dates on the website, that's all, so that everybody knows what's going on with that, please.
Anything else? Okay. All right. There's no other comments, then we'll go on to business. The water department deposits and the service charges.
I'll take that one.
You'll take that?
At the Public Works meeting on March 13th, they voted to recommend to council that we raise some of our prices for the water deposits, and the reason for this is a lot of times renters move out and landlords are responsible for their water bills, and their deposits aren't big enough to cover it, so they're trying to make it better. This way that'll make that part better. They recommend the customer deposit be from $150 to $200, the reconnect fee from $25 to $30, and then the call-out fees for after hours from $50 to $75. The reason for that being that the $50 doesn't even pay the people that we call out, so we're raising it to cover that cost. So I make the motion that these rates be raised.
Okay, is there a second? Any question? Motion has been made by Alderman Oswald, second by Alderman Downey. Beth, you have any questions? Beth, you have questions?
I do. I received a phone call today from a constituent who owns several rental properties, and she was concerned about this and had some suggestions, and I didn't know, and I'm sorry I wasn't at the Public Works meeting, so I don't know what you discussed. But she had some suggestions that, if possible, that we somehow have a notification to the landlord when a renter is starting to get in arrears of their water bill, that we can notify the landlord. This one person had a renter who moved out and left a bill of, I don't know how much, but 2 years ago. And she said, you know, she's already gone through her deposit process with that person. Had she known up front, she could have withheld that money and paid the water bill out of their deposit. So is there any way that we could amend our process to make it easier on landlords, for one thing? Excuse me. And then, what is, I don't even understand the call-out fee after hours. Why would we call somebody out after hours?
In case if something breaks or a meter, if there's a disaster and our guys have to go out to,
Does that
or
happen?
like a sinkhole or whatever might be happening, or
In somebody's yard?
yeah, I mean, whenever, and I don't know how often it happens. All I know is when our guys go out, aren't they guaranteed 3 hours?
Minimum 2-hour call out,
Minimum 2 hour.
equipment and everything else that goes.
And so we're
I
trying
just
to
didn't even
cover
know we
some of
did
that
that.
cost.
Didn't know we had such a thing as a call-out fee.
And about what else you said, I think that needs to go back to Public Works.
Right.
But that doesn't really have anything to do with, the 150 to 200 is hopefully gonna cover that better for the landlords.
Well, and I just want to say on that 150 to 200, I deal with, on a daily basis with low-income people, and $150 is a lot of money for them to come up with, to start with. And I think it would be a hardship on them to take it up to $200. But I just think if we kept better, tighter control on that through the landlord, maybe we could keep this from happening so often.
Karen explained, I think it only goes, I don't think she lets water bills go past, I think, and you'll have to ask Karen better than this, but she keeps a good handle on, I think it only goes, you miss it one time, the next time,
Like 2 months.
2 months it gets shut off, doesn't it? So a
So
water
then-
bill doesn't go on for months and months and months. And hopefully if you raise their deposit, if somebody gets shut off in 2 months, this $200 will cover it for the landlord, is the thinking. But it is what it is. We had a big discussion out at Public Works.
Doug?
Just quick, you asked me about this earlier, I just thought about this. You asked me if it's possible to contact landlords in the event this happens. I know with just one person back in the water office, I'm not sure what kind of logistical nightmare that's gonna be, is trying to track down landlords to notify them. I know that happens on a continuous basis, every month.
Right, but I know that she has a screen that shows that that person is a renter, and that owner of that property shows up on that screen. So when that renter starts falling behind, that's probably the time for us to stay on top of it and call that landlord and say, hey, your renter is starting to get behind, they're 2 months behind on their water bill, we're gonna shut them off. You know, you might want to contact them. You know, she said she could work with the renters. If she knew what was going on, she would be happy to work with them. And that would help us in the long run.
Okay, Jody?
I think the little bit that I was involved and talked with that, these landlords have been landlords for years. This isn't anything new to them. This is something that they're used to. And we're not here to babysit. If I don't pay my bill, I don't expect the water person to call my dad, tell him that I didn't pay my water bill this month. That's just how we looked at it. The people that are in and have a water bill know that they owe it. And the renter and the landlords know that it's a chance that they're taking. And like I said, they've been landlords for years. And they know that this is a constant problem and a constant issue. And, you know, we've suggested many times that we turn it over to the landlord to pay the bill, and then it's up to the landlord to get the money from them. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do
This particular
that.
landlord did want to do that.
Well,
So,
on
yeah,
the
who
whole,
knows?
you know,
Right,
you can't take just one that wants to do that. You have to take, I mean, Karen deals with a lot of landlords, a lot of rental property here.
Sure.
And we're not here to babysit all the rental owners. They owe a bill, it's just like their power bill, they owe it. They owe it and nobody's there to monitor it every month. And I don't think Ameren's gonna send the landlord a call them and say, hey, so-and-so didn't pay their power bill this month, what do you wanna do about it? The person that rents it owes it, and that's it.
Miracle.
Okay, yes.
I beg to differ. I'm a landlord, and I have a landlord's contract with Ameren. Ameren does contact me. It saved me rental problems, it saved lawsuits, and it's kept people in their homes. It's a business deal. It's not babysitting. It's common kindness.
My question is, if it's to take care of the landlords, why get the landlords just up their security deposit? I mean, it's not put the burden on the city, but they charge an extra $200 at the landlord fee going into it to cover for renters that go out or whatever.
No, none of them leave, yeah.
I mean,
Good idea.
Okay,
Exactly. I agree with you. I don't know why the landlords don't cover themselves better in these situations.
Right.
But as far as the Ameren thing, we're a city of what, how many households? Over 2,000, and we have one person in the water office. So I think Ameren's a little different. They have more.
All they gotta do is double hit the bill and they're.
Well, I don't think it's quite that easy
to the
back there.
resident.
You can ask Karen, but I don't think it's quite that easy to keep track of who is a renter and who isn't.
Why do anything nice?
Again, we're not here to babysit.
Cindy, do you have something?
I just had a question. I know that the water rates were increased over 3 years, like 3, 4, and 5%. Have these amounts been increased since the water rates were increased?
No.
So
No.
to me, if you're going to increase the water rate and this is supposed to help cover if someone doesn't pay their bill, it would make sense to increase them if you've increased the water rate that much. But I understand the other points that are being made, but
What
you know.
will it be when the water rates tripled?
I think though that if it is a business for us, we also have to cover the cost of that. So if the water rate is increased, it does make some sense to me from a business standpoint to increase that rate.
Okay, any other comments?
This one particular landlord, though, that called me, and maybe this is an isolated incident, but I kind of doubt it, didn't find out about the water bill being owed until she tried to put somebody else into one of her rental homes. By then, the deposit had already gone back to the renter, so she had no recourse, she had no way to go back. So now she has to take the money, out of her own pocket to pay that water bill. And it was an old water bill. Not saying that happens very often, just saying, it can happen. I don't know, I tried to call Karen today and God love her, she's going through some problems and wasn't there. So we didn't get to talk. But John Miller called me and.
Yeah.
But again, if the landlord would take better care of himself, if the landlord would put down the $150 deposit, and then the deposit goes back to him, again, the landlord has to take care of himself. We're not here to take care of him.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
one final thought, maybe we put it back on the landlord. Why don't we just
That's what I'm saying.
put it out there and say, hey, you should, before you give your deposit back, check with the water, check with the electrical, see if there's anything owed on it.
She did say to me that she is going to walk her tenants up to the water department before she releases money from now on. She is going to walk them up here. But I mean, how many landlords want to do that? But
Well,
whatever. I
there's-
just
Well,
don't
if they're
think-
worried about their money, they should.
And they probably, she will.
You wanna table this?
The motion's on the floor.
There's a
We
motion
have
on
first
the,
and a second.
I do
There's a
have
motion on the floor.
There is a motion on the floor. The
And
motion is been made by Sarah Oswald, Alderman Oswald, second by Alderman Downey. Any other comments? Okay, not the clerk will call the roll.
Oswald? Aye. Brockmeyer? Yes. Philbrook?
No.
Campbell?
Aye.
Downey?
Yes.
Heigert?
No.
Tierney?
No.
Okay, 4-3. Okay, motion is carried. Okay. Next on the agenda will be sidewalk bids, and we have,
I'd like to make a motion that the bids be open.
got it. Is there a second that we open the bids? Motion has been made by Alderman Oswald, second by Alderman Downey, that we open the bids for the sidewalk, and I believe the clerk has the bids.
You need a roll call.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll now open the bids for the sidewalk. All those, yeah. Are these just individual? Or did he not put this in?
That's not even an envelope. That's those three. This one, that one.
Okay, got it, okay. The first one is from Gillihan Concrete in Edwardsville, Illinois. And usually, the attorney usually opens them up and hands them to me that way, because I'm a little slower than you are. Edwardsville, Illinois, and what we'll do is there is a large amount of detail to the contract. I will say that the 4-inch sidewalk would be $18.50 a square foot. The 6-inch sidewalk would be $19.75. We'll give this to our Public Works Director, and he in turn will be taking a look and going through that one. Okay. Next is this is from D.C. Excavation Services LLC from Dawson, Illinois, and his bid again is the 4-inch. See if he has it broken out here. Public Works Director will have to take a look at this one too. He's got a lot of things there included. You might want to hand that. And the next one would be Quarton Construction out of Palmyra, and his price is $8 per square foot for 4-inch, $9 per square foot for 6-inch, and $130 for ADA specifications for the handicap ramp. He also has his certificate of eligibility. That would be Quarton. So I did not see. Did you see anything on that one?
Were those bids supposed to be sealed?
They are sealed.
That last one I didn't see open it.
I don't.
It didn't come in an envelope, it just came in and handed to us.
So it wasn't sealed?
No.
Okay, we'll give that one to the Public Works Director and have him take a look and look at the one. It's quite. All right. Next, we'll go to the truck bid.
I make a motion to open the truck bids.
Motion is by Alderman Oswald, second by Alderman Brockmeyer, that we open the truck bids. I'll let you, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. We'll open up the truck bids. There's two different trucks.
3,500 heavy duty. This is the 97.
That's the other one.
Yeah, this is the other.
We have two truck bids, two different trucks. This is the bid for the 1997 Chevrolet truck. And Bill Endris, E-N-D-R-I-S, out of Girard. His bid for the 97 Chevrolet is $697.99. The other one is from Baron Staten, and this is a bid for the white Chevy small dump truck behind the City Street Department building, and it's for $400. Those are two bids for that one. Next two, we have three bids for the 1978 truck, Ford dump truck. The bid for the 1978 Ford truck, also by Bill Endris, $211.99. The next one is Tommy Eichen. He would like to put $390 bid on the 1978 Ford dump truck. And he is from Carlinville. There's that one.
This is 200.
And the next one
What's the
is,
last one
I'm
there?
sorry, what was the last one?
211.99.
That was Bill.
the first one.
No, I'm talking about the Icon.
Eichen was $390. And the next one is from Joseph Former, Brighton, Illinois. $265. Okay, I don't know. Okay, any questions about any of these? Yes, Jeff?
Mayor, can we go ahead and approve the sale of the vehicles to the highest bidder for each, the 2 trucks?
Thank you. Motion has been made by Alderman Downey, second by Alderman Heinert, that we approve the bids to the highest bidder. Any other comments on this? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Downey,
Yes.
Toon,
Yes.
Tigert, Bilbrook,
Yes.
Brockmeyer,
Yes.
Campbell,
Aye.
Oswald.
Okay, motion is carried 7-0, and the highest bidder will be notified for each of the vehicles. Next will be the electrical upgrade. And Chief, you want to talk about?
Well, in Public Works, it's been talked about a couple months about updating the dispatch area with their electrical outlets and their backups. Anyway, we don't have enough outlets back there, and we got a bid from, or Stars Electric has offered us an amount to do it for $15,100, and there's money in the budget to do it, so I'm making a motion that we okay $15,100 to be spent back, and it comes out of public lands, because what's being done stays in the building. It's not, the police can't take them with them if they move. So that's why public lands, that's why I'm talking about it. So I make the motion that we do $15,100 to replace and update the dispatch area.
Motion has been made by Alderman Oswald, second by Alderman Bilbrook, that we approve Stars Electric for $15,100 to be paid out of public lands for the electrical upgrade to the police department. Any questions? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Brockmeyer,
Yes.
Campbell,
Aye.
Downey,
Yes.
Toon,
Yes.
Oswald,
Aye.
Tigert,
Yes.
Bilbrook.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried 7-0. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Let's do adjournment.
Motion by Alderman Downey, second by Alderman Bilbrook. All those to adjourn, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, we are now adjourned.